Hey there, guys. Welcome back to Garage Football. We've just watched West Ham beat Leeds 2-0 at the London Stadium. Any thoughts, guys? Please put them in the live chat, or if you're watching later in the comments below. But I'm with JP today. Thanks, John, for joining us. Your thoughts on that game, mate?
Good to see you, Bill. Happy, shall we say? Happy. 48 points on the board, 11 games to go, 5th in the table. Bring it on.
Who'd have thought that, mate, after the start of the season?
Oh, mate, just as we were talking about, because I haven't spoken to you since, well, I'm guessing not properly since the end of last season. And, and how much negativity that there was around what was going to happen this season from all of us, myself included. I said we weren't going to get more than 37 points. But, yeah, happy with that performance. Shaky 5 or 6 minutes at the start, with Leeds being pretty much all over us. I know a lot of people were probably sitting thinking, here we go again, sort of thing. We haven't played for over a week, and it was just. But yeah, no, happy with it.
Yeah, Leeds didn't make things easy, but they never do, mate. They run and work hard, and run to the last minute of every match, and even when they got beat, I think it was 6-2 at Old Trafford by Man United. They were still going and trying to score in the last minute, and they were 6-2 down. So that was always going to happen against us tonight, even if the scoreline was only 2-0. And as you say, mate, I think Leeds had the much better at the start. First 15 minutes or so, for sure. The stat come up on Sky, didn't it? That Leeds had 70% possession after 30 minutes, but they actually did create a couple of chances. But then they didn't just keep the ball for the sake of it. Held Acosta had an effort that just went over, and then the goal that was just given offside. I think it was Roberts who tucked it in after a pullback from Held Acosta. I think it was someone's knee that was offside, wasn't it? So VAR was in our favour on that one.
It's. Bill, you know me. We've had many conversations over the last year or so about what I think about VAR and how well it can make games. But to rule somebody off for, let's face it, half a kneecap. It is literally like an inch or so of his knee is offside, and that's taking the piss. I'm really glad that it came out. What was it, Friday? I think it was, when they were saying that UEFA and FIFA and that are going to re-review the offside and the handball rules. They're going to test it in a few places for next season. Because I'm sorry, man, but you've got to have the advantage to the attacker. If it's something that small, you genuinely do. As Wenger said it in was it 2 years ago, that he was saying that if the attacking player's body is, the majority of his body is in an onside position, then the player should be deemed as onside. I'm sorry, but for a kneecap or a few toes as offside,
armpits, yeah.
It's exactly. I mean, that whole fucking stupid thing that came in, was it September, October time, about the stitching on the arm, or where it is. It's ridiculous. And I was saying to I was chatting while I was doing the watch along. I was chatting to a Leeds mate of mine, and I was just saying to him that the rules are being brought up to date because of the technology of VAR. No, you have the rules in place and then adapt the technology to your rules, not the other way around.
Yeah, IFAB make the rules.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and I'm glad that those rules are going to be reviewed, because at the end of the day, everybody is saying it, and especially for this season and the majority of last season as well, the game is dying. The game is absolutely dying. If you're going to rule somebody offside for 2 or 3 millimeters on their knee. I mean, don't get me wrong. The second attempt that they had was ruled out completely right, because it went off the pitch. But at the same time, I'm guessing there's a lot of Leeds supporters out there who are just absolutely feeling massively deflated, and because after that, Leeds seemed to settle back, and we grew into the game more and more as a result. It's horrible to see a team, especially one that's been newly promoted. Hello, mate. You all right?
Yeah, good. Thanks. How are you, boys?
Yeah, fine, thanks. We're just talking about obviously Leeds. Leeds flew out of the blocks, and I was just saying to John that they had 70% of the ball leads off that first 13 minutes, but they didn't just keep the ball for the sake of it. They made the most of it, created a couple of chances. One held Costa with his shot that went over, and then we're just talking about the offside goal, minimal offside. I mean, VAR was in our favour tonight, but on that occasion, but I think they probably deserved to take the lead, didn't they? Leeds after that bright start by them.
Oh God, yeah, massive wake up call for us. I think those first 10 minutes we were playing really poorly. Leeds were having a couple of really good opportunities, as you mentioned, and obviously had the ball in the back of the net. And thank God refereeing decisions were on our side this time. But yeah, it was a very slow start. Ball retention was really poor. And yeah, there just didn't seem to be the same sort of fluidity that we've been playing with over the last few games. So yeah, like you say, Leeds came out of the blocks, and I've just seen Declan Rice's interview, and he said that first 10 minutes was just a massive wake up call.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's the same as we were just saying just now, mate. It's the West Ham way. We hadn't played for over a week. And we are completely sluggish with it, but at the same point, fair play to Leeds. They because they lost to Villa last week 2-0. 2-0, if I remember correctly, at home. And their routine. Second.
1-0, I think. Yeah.
1-0. Yeah. So their routine is the fact that if they lose at home, they go out and try and win their away game next. So that's why they came out all guns blazing, trying to get something back. But it was just. It was a relaxing game to watch. I was probably one of the few supporters out there tonight that was actually quite relaxed.
Must have been the only one, mate. I'll say weren't relaxed. Especially that last half hour, which we'll come on to. Go on, my arsehole was going like that. Cool. But eventually, West Ham settled down. And Souček had an effort with a header that just went wide. I think Dallas did well to put him off. But then a couple of minutes later, we get a penalty, lads. Mike Dean, fair play to him, good decision. Not always the first time we say that about Mike Dean. And
the right decision as well.
The right decision, yeah.
I mean, there was less contact on the penalty for the Manchester derby than there was with this penalty tonight. And I was just thinking, I genuinely was thinking, probably like everybody else, that we were only going to get one penalty, but Dean got it absolutely spot on. I mean, apart from the early couple of 2 or 3 minutes in with that dodgy free kick that he gave to Leeds for something that happened exactly to Fornals a few seconds earlier. I think for the first half, I think Dean did. I think that was probably one of the best games I've seen him referee for a long time.
Yeah, he didn't hog the limelight for once. Just let the game flow. Exactly. But Lingard did brilliantly with his run into the box. Luke Ayling fouled him clear as day. Foul. But I'm surprised he took it, lads. I don't know about you. Obviously, Rice and Antonio were on the pitch, but Lingard took it. I don't think he will take the next one because it was a pretty average penalty, wasn't it? Well saved by Meslier. But did well with his reactions, followed it up, and tucked in the rebound.
Yeah, no, I think it was a terrible penalty, pretty poor penalty. I think Meslier got a little bit unlucky in the sense that he went the right direction, but it kind of was at an awkward angle, so he could only parry it back into Lingard's path, and obviously Lingard did the rest after that. But yeah, quite. I think Declan Rice definitely needs to be on penalty duties from now on. That's for sure.
I mean, it's a bit harsh to. I agree. I'm just saying it's a bit harsh because it was a daisy cutter that he tried to roll it in as best as slowly as he possibly could. But at the same point, it was obviously strong enough for the ball to completely deflect out of Meslier's hands, and fair play to Lingard being alive to it and smacked it back in the opposite side of the goal. So it's very rare that we've had a centre forward, as much as Lingard is, even though technically speaking he's a left winger. But it's very rare that we've had a centre forward that's alive to stuff like that. The last player that we had that was awake to those sort of instant reactions was Andy Carroll in that goal that he's scored against Arsenal. It was literally rebounded straight off the post and he bounded it straight in. It's been a long time since we've had somebody that actually wants to genuinely chase the ball, and we've got 4 or 5 players of those now. I'm absolutely loving it, really loving it.
Yeah, no, he did well to follow up Lingard, and then Aaron Cresswell, the free kick, just deflected wide, and then from that resulting corner, 2-0. Craig Dawson, or Sir Craig Dawson, Lord Dawson, whatever you want to, what name you want to get him. Excellent header. It was a free header, but it was his movement that created the chance for himself.
And not only that, mate, he was running, because that was blatantly for Souček. They were both running in for exactly the same ball, and Dawson had half a yard on him, and that was it.
Yeah, I think Dawson was not letting anyone else have that ball. That was all his. The eyes were on the ball the whole time, and he don't get in his way, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And then started to create a few more chances. West Ham after that, Lingard had an effort. Benrahma, he ran across the pitch, managed to manufacture a shot that was well saved by Meslier. And then on the stroke of half time, Dawson hit the post from another Cresswell corner, and as much as Leeds, obviously, the first 15 minutes they could have had a couple of goals. West Ham, it could have been maybe 3-0 up at half time.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, no, we definitely could have been stunning silence. Yeah, no, I mean, the header was the header. Oh God, I mean, he's just been brilliant for us, but especially from set pieces. He just seems like a man possessed in that box, you know. And like I said earlier, he just whenever he's got his eye on the ball, there's just no stopping him. And I think there was even another chance either later in that half or in the second half where he's basically just Mellier's just got there in front of him, but had he not got there, then Dawson's winning that header again. So he's just so dangerous from set pieces, and to have not only him but Souček and when he's fit, Bono being such big threats in that box when you got such good set piece takers as well, and Diop as well. Yeah, no, when you got such great set piece takers as well as people who can actually get their head on the ball as well, it's a dangerous combination. And Sky brought it up. I think Leeds conceded the most first half goals, and we've scored the most set piece goals all season. So it was really just kind of a recipe for disaster for Leeds, unfortunately, and Craig Dawson proved why.
Which was the same way with the away game as well for that match.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Because we had we were 1-0 down and came back, won it 2-1 with the both again set pieces. One of the things I'm absolutely loving about us this season, and again the first half was indicative of this, is these players aren't giving up now. They're really going, as Simon said in the chat just there. The team is learning that winning is a great feeling. Such a different mentality from the whole of the squad this year. Long may it continue. Completely agree. Because you look at how dejected Soufal was when we lost to City.
It's great.
They're going to win the title by the looks of it, and we lost by 1 goal to them. It was a 1-1 draw when we had them at the start of the season.
And had a chance at the end as well of that game.
Yeah, absolutely, and and likewise with that's what I love about. We're obviously going to come on to the second half in a minute, but in the first half, Fornals had a really, really good attempt that he could have scored from. And it's just we've got 9, maybe 10 players out there now that are trying to win the game, rather than just jogging about, getting their wages like it's been for the last few seasons. And I'm loving this. I'm absolutely enjoying this big time.
Go on then, name the 11th one who doesn't care. That'll be interesting.
Well, he can't score, can he? So
still did his part tonight as well. Great.
He did, yeah. Pulled off some really, really good saves.
Well, we'll talk about those coming up. So, like the first half, Leeds actually come out flying in the start of the second half. Patrick Bamford, he had an effort only a couple of minutes in. I think it's on his strong left foot. I think it's Llorente, the centre back, passed it forward. Diop was ball watching. I expected the net to bulge, but Bamford, he curled it wide, which, as I say, with his goal scoring form this season, I thought he'd bury that.
Yeah, I think it was a big theme throughout the game. We'll probably come on to some more chances that he potentially should have put away. But I think that first one was definitely probably the best chance of the whole game. I thought, with someone as clinical as Bamford's been all season, and we were talking about this on the watch along. He was getting himself in dangerous positions. He's putting himself about, and as a complete forward, he's a good player. But for whatever reason, his shooting boots went on, and that first miss was just for me, it was the worst out of the lot. Because I just feel like as a striker, he got to be slotting those home, and Jay, unfortunately, he couldn't do it. Well, fortunately for us, he didn't do it. But yeah, like I think, as you said, Bill, he's scored a pretty healthy number of goals this season. You'd expect him any other game to put that away easily.
Yeah, I think it was an even easier one he missed later on.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was watching a lot of Leeds games in the Championship last season, and I watched a lot of the start of the season of Leeds games as well. And I was genuinely thinking, how have Chelsea let this kid go? Because he was absolutely smashing it in the Championship. He scored, what was it, like 13 goals and 5 assists for Leeds so far this season. And then you see why. Like you're saying, Charles, mate, he's a very, very good player. He's very talented, but as Adam said in the chat for my watch along, he has to have 4 or 5 attempts before he has a goal, and that's the worrying thing. I mean, I don't think Leeds are getting relegated this season. But you never know. Stranger things have happened. But at the same point, if Bamford's not finding his boots, they're going to struggle. They are going to struggle.
Yeah, I think they got goals from other players as well. Well, one of those players, Rafinha, I thought he had an excellent second half in particular. He had an overhead kick, which deflected off Diop. Wonderful save by Fabianski. I mean, if tonight didn't prove he's back to his best, then I don't think anything will.
Hit the bar, didn't it?
He tipped over.
No, he tipped over.
It must have been a finite of touches in that case, but yeah.
That's why it's such a good save.
Exactly, yeah.
But no, I mean, Rafinha has been a handful all season, and he was a handful from last season as well. If you keep those two quiet, then you're coming away with the points, and it's why it is generally you can see moments in there where Leeds. I mean, they're there was a Leeds fan that pops into the chat very, very briefly for my watch along and said, why can't we string 4 or 5 passes together? It's because they're nervous. It's that, we're used to seeing it week in, week out, but it's even worse to see it from when we're playing an opposition that is looking nervous. It's understandable to a degree. To say that conceded 2 goals in the first half, didn't really. What was it? They had. What was it? It was about 2 or 3 shots on goal at the first. 2 or 3
nothing on target.
Half, nothing on target. And what was it? 6 shots in the second. About halfway through the second half, and only 2 shots on target. That's about right for Championship side that got promoted. To be fair, but at the same for their first season in the Premier League. But at the same point, I can see why Leeds fans are worrying. I can understand it.
Well, I think they'd take 11th after this stage of the season. But not long afterwards, West Ham eventually flew forward, and Pablo Fornals, he's an expert at hitting the bar, but this time it wasn't a gilt-edged chance. Must have been, 25, 30 yards out, was it, lads? Wonderful,
something like that, yeah.
Wonderful technique. Chested in and hit it first time. Looked like it was going in for all money. Sometimes when you see volleys or shots from that distance, you can just tell it's going in row Z or something, but this... nice little dip on it. Melia was absolutely nowhere near it.
Yeah, I think West Ham clips is going to have to be slightly more lenient on Fornals this week. And his poor cat. But yeah, I think it was great technique, of course, like you said, Bill. Just a dip, unfortunately, dip an inch or 2 below, and that's an absolute screamer. But yeah, and just on Fornals, I thought he played pretty well. He had a good hard working game. I saw in the Standard today that he was that he wants to be known as the sort of Cockney grafter instead of the West Ham superstar, and I think that was the kind of performance he gave tonight. Very hard grafting and good on the counter attack as well.
Yeah, I think he's starting to get back to his best form. Really, he had a little spell like Bowen is at the moment out of the side, but since he's come and started the last few games, I think he's hitting his best form, which is good to see.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a big supporter of Fornals for a long, long time.
Yeah, same.
For the last couple of games, tonight and the City game, he's worked his absolute socks off. He was Fornals was my man of the match. I totally understand why it went to Dawson, because he was just an absolute rock. I mean, we haven't covered it yet, but what a clearance he did in the second half. Jesus Christ.
Not half, mate. Yeah, not half. Yeah.
It's just, again, it's nice to see where when we're having games like we had tonight, where pretty much everybody's agreeing it's either one or the other man of the match. Because it was both of them just absolutely really stood out once again.
Yeah, it's obviously we know Fornals and his hard work, but it's his quality and his decision making has been a lot better from what I've seen. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I mean, he just doesn't work out on the left. He needs to play as the number 10. He genuinely does.
I think he was. I think tonight he was, from what I saw.
He was for a lot of it, yeah. But he's according to the graphics on Sky and a few other places, he was out on the left wing for at least to start the game. But I think Ben Rama and him switched around pretty quickly after that. But at the same time, he needs to be sitting behind the whole way. But having said that, though, we need Lingard in the middle as well. But he was out on the wing, so it was just.
Well, it's quite fluid. That's what you want. You want your attacking players pop up everywhere, and defenders don't know where to mark or do they leave the space or do they mark someone? Do they know who they're marking? Don't want it to be too predictable. So that's good from our point of view.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. I think I just really hope that Fornals scores a couple of goals, because like with Ben Rama, I think him and Bowen and Ben Rama are all trying too hard to score.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, John, in the sense that I think Fornals' best position is down the middle as a number 10, and he can have that more creative license and everything like that. But yeah, like you say, but I think in terms of what Moyes is trying to achieve, especially since bringing Lingard in, is a bit more fluidity in that sort of attacking three, and so far it's been working.
Yeah, absolutely. But saying that, Leeds still, as I said at the start, Charles, while we were waiting, they lost to Man United 6-2, I think it was a month or so ago, and they were still trying to. Go for I think a third goal in the 94th minute or whatever. Even though they were obviously going to lose heavily, they're still going, and they don't make it. I mean, at times they make it easy, Leeds, with the space they leave behind and the way they fly forward constantly. But they don't make it easy in terms of putting pressure on the opposition and trying to score all the time. And they kept going right to the very end tonight. I mean, we mentioned that Bamford chance at the start of the second half, and then he had another one, which I think was even easier. About 12-30 minutes to go. Rafinha, again, he had an excellent game. He was down the right, did well to find Bamford. It looks his weak foot, Bamford. He was on his right foot, but he should have done better than that. He was 6 yards out, was he?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think he shouldn't have passed it in the first place. He should have taken his kick straight away, rather than passing it to him that came back in for that second attempt, which he absolutely skied it. But he had the opportunity to take it on his natural foot, as you're saying. That there was enough space for him to score, but he panicked and passed it out. And that's what I'm saying. This is why I know a lot of people have saying that Bamford is underrated, because he's not taking his chances properly.
Yeah, well, he should have had at least one tonight. And then about 5 minutes to go, that Craig Dawson talked about that clearance earlier. A really good cross by Ayling, the Leeds right back. And I think it was Bamford and Rodrigo, I think it was at the back post. I don't know who actually shot in the end.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I think both of them were in the way of each other. But Dawson obviously got his goal, but defensively excellent. And I agree with Alan Smith on commentary, given the... What the hell? Given
Robocop woken up or something.
Independence Day. Given a Dawson man of the match, I think, for his defensive work and that clearance, and obviously his goal as well. But another time where Leeds went really close.
Yeah, no, I think that clearance, I think I celebrated more for the clearance than I did any of the goals tonight. It was that good. we've been proven wrong. Well, at least the majority of the fan base has been proven wrong
Oh yeah,
about Dawson from day one, and I'm so glad to see him thriving. And I was saying on the watch along that I genuinely. I know people were sort of saying, "All right, stop joking. Surely he can't be Hammer of the Year contender." It's not a joke anymore. I think genuinely he
it's a
can
legit
absolutely
shout.
be Hammer of the Year, and he's. I'm waiting for him to make that massive mistake, and he's not making it because he's playing too bloody good. And the fact that he's also adding goals as well. I mean, who the hell could have seen that coming as well? It's really good, and I thought he deserved man of the match tonight without doubt. I thought he was solid again, and I think, especially with how well he's managed to kind of ingratiate Diop into that team and bring him back in when he was sort of lacking that form, was I think it's just a great kind of a showcase of how good a leader he can be as well on the pitch. And I think there were times on Sky where they were showing him sort of communicating and saying, "Look, switch on, boys," and everything. And and I think he's just top player for us so far.
And he's scored the same amount of goals that Lingard scored as well. He's got 4 goals this season. When have we ever had a defender, even one on loan? Let's not forget. That scored 4 goals and 2/3 of the way through the season.
That's a good point. Thanks, Jonathan. Sorry, Charles. Thanks, Jonathan, for your comment. Yeah, other clubs be after Craig Dawson in the summer if West Ham don't sign him. Well, yeah. Who'd have thought that when we brought him on the loan?
Barcelona will be.
As far as I'm concerned, guys, he's the 25th of May signing for me. Once the season's over, that's the first one on the sheet. It really has to be.
Yeah.
And hopefully Lingard will join as well.
Yeah. It'd be very, very nice for us to step up the 15-20 million apparently that Man United are going to want from him in his last extended contract year. So. Yeah, things are looking good. I don't know about you guys, but Lingard and 2 more strikers, and we're having a really good season next season, I reckon.
Well, we don't need to get a backup midfielder anymore. We've just signed Noble on a 1-year deal.
Exactly. So Jonathan makes the point: bring on Man United at the weekend. I don't. Obviously United, they got a great result yesterday against Man City, but at Old Trafford, that's where they've been weak this season. Away, they've been, I think it's 22 matches in the Premier League unbeaten away from home. But at Old Trafford, they've at times they've struggled. So I don't see why we can't. I know they beat us in the FA Cup and stuff, but I don't see why we can't get a result against them.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we should definitely give it a go. I mean, great, fair do, some great result against City, but even then, they're kind of, the way they play football for me is it can definitely be exploited, especially at the back. And I feel like we've definitely got a strong enough attack to kind of go at them, and a strong enough defence as well to withstand some of the firepower that they have. We did that quite well under quite a lot of constraints in the FA Cup game earlier this season. So, if we can put in more or less the same sort of shift we did against City, then we can definitely come away with something.
Absolutely agree with you, mate. And the same thing from when we played them at home as well in the league. We were very unlucky when just a couple of mistakes, but that's what it takes in football nowadays. Okay, obviously Lingard's not going to be able to play for playing against his parent club, so we're reliant on Antonio up there. But still, we've still got as long as like you're saying, Charles, as long as we can exploit their attack and exploit their defence with our attack. And we can show up our own defence. I think we're in for quite a good shout. I genuinely think we can pick something up.
Yeah, and the thing about City yesterday. I mean, we did a watch along yesterday, and City didn't really test United a huge amount. They didn't expose Maguire and Lindelof's lack of pace at any time. But they're saying that I thought all the defenders played well for United, but they City weren't at their best. So I definitely think we can get at them if we obviously if Antonio plays from the start, then we've got every chance against them.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I think, like you say, I think not all their defence is bad. I mean, certainly their fullbacks are some of their standout players. Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw have been really good.
Both of them awesome.
They've been really good, and this season as well. Just generally, they've been very good. So, but like you say, I think there's a lot of vulnerability in that centre back partnership that we can definitely try and exploit.
And likewise with I only saw the highlights earlier this afternoon of the City game, and it made Luke Shaw look like he was playing for Barcelona. I've never seen him play that well. I mean that don't get me wrong, that was a very, very good goal that he scored. But if City were playing the way that they were playing when we played them last weekend, that goal's not going in any shape or form. So, but yeah, it's just it's like the old football cliche goes. It's a free hit over at Old Trafford. If we get a point, it'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'd love us to get the 3 points that they nicked us off us earlier in the season. But how many times have we ever been in the position to say that we feel robbed from Man United?
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for joining, lads. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
We're fifth on the table. Do you believe that? Oh, it's unreal. I still can't believe it.
Say it again, Charles.
We're going to Europe.
European tour, here we come.
11 games to go, 48 points on the board.
I know.
I mean, just one final thing on it is the fact that with Leeds are only 9 points from the bottom three with 11 games to go. And as I say,
surely not. Surely not. Surely it can't happen.
There's definitely 3 worse teams than them. All right.
As I said, I can't see them getting relegated. But if they can't pick up some decent, they can't sort themselves out in the midfield, it's going to be a worrying time. It really will be for them. But nah.
At least we don't have to worry about relegation this season, lads.
No, exactly. Yeah, all we've got to worry about is trying to beat the people around us, and we're not. And that's the thing, we're not playing, with exception. Obviously because we've got Man United, Arsenal, and Leicester still to come, and then everybody else is below us, and long may that continue as well.
Yeah, that'd be nice. All right. John, Charles, thanks for joining us, lads, on another West Ham win. Thanks everyone for watching. Subscribe to Garage Football if you're new, like this video if you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.